Well, let's move on to a different section in the orchestra. Let's move on to the brass section. Can any of you name some instruments that you hear in the brass section? Yes?
Trumpet?
Yes, the trumpet is a brass instrument. Can we name a couple more?
The French horn?
The French horn, okay. Yes, sir?
The tuba?
The tuba, yes. We're going to be listening to the tuba today. That's right. So first, let's listen to the trumpet. Okay. And how would you describe those pitches? Everyone?
High.
High. It has a higher sound to it. Let's listen to the tuba and compare that to the trumpet. Okay, and how would you compare that to the trumpet that we just listened to?
Lower.
Lower in pitch, right? Definitely has a bigger color to it, all right, a deeper sound. Let's listen to all of those brass instruments that we mentioned put together. What do you guys think of when you hear that music being played? What does it bring to mind? What pictures or maybe what places do you think of?
Mouse being chased by a cat.
A mouse being chased by a cat, right? Let's move on to another section, the woodwinds. First, we're going to listen to the flute. Okay, and now here's the clarinet. And how would you compare those two? What are they are very similar, but what are the differences that you heard when you were listening to the flute and the clarinet? Yes, sir.
I think the flute is higher pitched than the clarinet.
Yes, that's true. We hear higher pitches from the flute than the clarinet.
The flute was a little bit faster.
The flute played at a little bit quicker tempo in certain parts of the music that you listen to, right? Let's listen to a bunch of woodwind instruments together. Okay, did any of you hear a popular instrument? Did any of you hear a popular instrument in there that we didn't talk about? One that we definitely think about when we're speaking about jazz. It's another woodwind instrument that you hear a lot in music. Yes?
The saxophone?
The saxophone, okay? It definitely had a big part in that piece of music. Okay, let's talk about another section of the orchestra, percussion. When we're talking about percussion, what instruments are we talking about? Let's go right over here.
The drums?
The drums, right. So I've got two different pieces here with the drums and the cymbals. Let's listen. and here are the drums. Did you notice in that drum section there were two different sounds being played? Two different types of drums, okay? Let's listen to a bunch of percussion instruments together. What instrument did you hear in that percussion piece that we didn't talk about? Yes.
A xylophone.
A xylophone, that's right. You'll also find the xylophone in the percussion section. A very popular job in the music industry is to compose music for different movies. If you're watching a scary movie, what kind of music do you usually hear? Can anyone think of a way to describe it to me?
Terrifying.
Terrifying music. What makes it terrifying? Is it high in pitch? Is it low in pitch? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it loud? Is it soft? How would you describe it?
I describe it by saying that it's slow.
Usually has a low sound. How many of you have ever heard this? Dun-it, 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 dun-it. What am I talking about? Jaws. Jaws. Every one of you here knows that that's from Jaws, right? What have you heard some music like this? Dun 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 dun. What movie is that from?
Indiana Jones.
That's right. It's very exciting because he's on an adventure. All of these movies are easily recognizable just by the music, right? They've made them famous. Well, we're going to take a piece of music that was composed, put together, by the same man that wrote all of those pieces of music for those movies. I am not going to tell you which movie it is. I want you to listen to the music. Describe what instruments you hear, what the mood is. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it scary? Is it excited? What is the action that you think is happening in this particular part of the movie? All right? And use some of these words to describe the sounds that you hear. I'm going to play 3 minutes of it, and then we're going to discuss it with a friend, and we're going to come up with some ideas and share our ideas with the class.